Okay, so as you guys know by now, there has been another school massacre, this time at an elementary school. These are little kids, K through fourth grade. It looks like as of right now, there are 14 kids, I think, and one teacher and one shooter's grandmother are dead, and one shooter is dead.
Yeah, although some conflicting reports. Hopefully, it's not that many. It's still super early. I mean, this is just
what, that many kids dead?
Yeah,
I think it's been law enforcement has confirmed it. I think.
I guess so.
And Greg Abbott, because
Greg Abbott said it, but then some people were saying that that's not right. That it's 15 injured and not that the 14 and one is the injured.
So you and I saw that earlier, a few hours ago. That there were 14 injured and 2 dead, but now I'm seeing everywhere, including with the government.
Yeah, but they could all just be going off what Governor Abbott said. I don't know. It's a mass shooting, whatever it is. He went into school and shot at kids. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm holding on to hope that maybe not that many kids are dead because that's horrifying.
Well, it also could be more.
I know. It's terrible. If
it's not 14 dead, then this has been the biggest reporting fuck up that we have seen in a long time.
These things always have reporting screw-ups.
Not 14 dead down to not 14 dead.
Well,
They're never like this. At least 14 children dead and multiple injuries reported after.
That is what everyone's saying now. So I don't know.
He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher. Mr. Romas, the shooter, he himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him.
Kathy, we also, do we still have, Catherine, let me ask you, if we know that 14 are dead and then maybe as many as 12 more are still in, the governor said he had a handgun. That sounds like more than a handgun.
Well, he said there's a handgun and they believe there may be a rifle, but they're working to determine that as well. The thing that caught my attention, John, is this description of the 18-year-old suspect arriving in a vehicle at the school and then sort of almost hopping the fence or moving into the elementary school. And it goes to the idea that there may have been a precipitating event. It sounds like that may have been the catalyst for going to the school and then having that kind of firepower. So you asked me earlier how federal authorities kind of.
So he had apparently been in a brush with Border Patrol shootout or something beforehand after shooting his grandmother, and then went into the school and then killed people. Now after yeah.
After what?
So at which time then somebody he either got shot by a parent or a cop. They think it's a cop. Okay, everybody's reporting 14.
Yeah, I guess so.
Were dead. It would be a historic.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I guess so.
Okay, 14 are dead. We're gonna go with that. At least 14 are dead. And so, yeah, I mean, what do you do? This is another kind of Sandy Hook where there's little kids and they were massacred by some psycho. I'm the only thing that I'm happy is that somebody put a effing bullet in his head. I wish they could have tortured him for a while, but unfortunately I don't get everything I want. So, and so that's it. And so Alice and I, today the Shattuck operation came to a grinding halt and collapsed into disrepair. Just our total situation with our work, life, kids, and everything. And so so this was probably going to be a very Shattuck Central show today, but because just so many things just aren't working with us trying to, our day-to-day life is just not, we need to make improvements. We need a new plan.
Right.
As far as how we're working, when we're working, how we're doing the kids, what we're doing with the kids, how we're doing ourselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was going to be a bitch fest about how much of a pain in the ass everything is today. But that has been wildly put into perspective with this horror that is the killing of these children. And I don't. They much like Sandy Hook, they've assembled all the parents in one place to pick up their kids, and
some parents get kids, and
much
some
like
don't.
Sandy Hook, yes, if they've run out of kids and are done distributing the kids, that means your kid is dead somewhere, just lying somewhere dead, shot horribly, and so that the whole effing idea of it is, it's just a complete. It's a complete nightmare scenario, and I can't imagine. I can tell you one thing, that there's two issues that we can talk about, I think, with this. There is some audio out and some video that shows what is apparently one of the rooms there that's locked down, where you're hearing this.
Flown in because two parents showed up armed and the shooter barricaded himself in a classroom with kids. Then a kid inside the classroom is calling their parents.
So if that is true, if a kid in the classroom is calling his parents, if a little kid is calling parents using their cell phone, and parents then show up with guns, I am absolutely all for cell phones in schools. Figure out a way to make it happen so that it's not a distraction. Because parents showing up with guns is, I think, an absolute good thing. The other thing that we're doing is, because this country fucking sucks so much in so many different ways, and we have to suck in so many cliched ways that are so freaking lame. The media has done losers on social media everywhere are saying, they look at this and excitedly say, yes, 14. Oh, awesome. How can I make this about my thing, my pet cause? I need to make it about my pet cause. And we're looking for, I've heard that on CNN, they were giddily awaiting news that it was another white supremacist shooter was there, etc. And certainly the people on the right are like, oh, let him be an illegal alien. Let him be an illegal alien. People suck when it comes to this stuff. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, everybody's rooting for it to back up their narrative.
Exactly, so they can stick it to each other on social media. I'm so effing sick of it. I've been part of that in the past. I have not been excellent at times in my life. I'm just sick of it now. But somebody who's got it coming as far as criticism goes, and sheer common streetwalker opportunism in the light of this, who I'm sure was thrilled to get a call, was Juliet Kayyem, who was supposedly a crisis expert for in Massachusetts at Harvard or something. She's been desperately trying to claw her way into stardom now for more than a decade. She's awful. She's an opportunist. She just simply wants to be a famous person with hot takes and a certain kind of sass. She's a dumb. I've known her for a while. So she is with Jake Tapper. And Jake Tapper, of course, one of the reasons I can't really ever respect Jake Tapper, even though people say he's a fairly good guy, is because you've got to be a 5-story pillar of dumb to not realize that this lady is a flim-flam lady. She's full of it. She has nothing good to say. So here's Juliet Kayyem saying what needs to be done on CNN.
From an investigation standpoint, I'm going to do what the facts tell me now. So I've got demographics, first of all, an 80% Hispanic school district. So the most important thing for the federal government to do right now is to say there will be no immigration enforcement during this period in that area. It has a large immigration population. You want parents with their kids. You don't want people hiding right now. And we need to make that clear ASAP because of the political issues in Texas.
That dumbass advised people for a living. The hell does she know about the
what does one thing have to do with the other?
Person-to-person contact going on down there? No, nothing. But she knows that there's federal people there, and she's trying to have an angle because she's trying to get a gig. She wants to have a hot take. I wouldn't be surprised if this administration, by the way, did it, of course. But she got a news cycle. She got the call from CNN. She ran down to the studio, and now she's got her hot take. That's right. We need this. It's a moral cause. And you watch. Idiots will jump on this. And she goes on.
Again, I don't know motives. We don't know motives. I am just telling you demographics. It is a predominantly Hispanic population with a large immigrant community out relatively near San Antonio. We need the federal government to say right now, everyone is essentially safe harbor right now in terms of immigration status. We need people to come forward, not to be fearful of immigration status, get their kids, get their family members, because what happens in incidents like this is when we're going to have a strong police presence, a strong federal presence. We know this. A lot of people do not react, especially if their status is unknown, do not react to police presence as you or I may. And we want to make sure that they know, despite all the politics that are going on in Texas right now, it's the federal government that's in charge of immigration enforcement, and people are safe. Get your kids, get your families together. Do not hide. And I mean, the White House just needs to say that right now. This should not be delayed.
Shut up, you dummy. Why is she wedging the immigration topic into this right now?
Well, she did say, I don't know motive. I'm just telling you demographics, which almost makes it sound like she is hoping it's a white supremacist trying to kill immigrant Hispanic people or something. Like it's another El Paso shooter kind of deal. Like that's what it sounds like she's trying to drive at a little bit.
Right. So here's the dum-dum when Jake Tapper poses a question to her. Here's the dum-dum misconstruing and not understanding the question and spitting out is absurdities.
The Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, who we should note is on the ballot today. It is Election Day in Texas. Attorney General Paxton said moments ago, quote, people that are shooting people, that are killing kids, they're not following murder laws. They're not going to follow gun laws. I'd much rather have law-abiding citizens armed and trained so that they can respond when something like this happens, because it's not going to be the last time, unquote. The victims, of course, 14 elementary school children and a teacher.
That was her cell phone ringing, by the way, that she silenced, because if any other media calls her, she wants to be ready.
What is your response to Attorney General Paxton?
So I want to take his statement seriously, because this is obviously the sort of winning political stance winning in the sense that we don't get changes to gun laws. And so I want to take his claim seriously. And the first is obviously we aren't arming elementary school kids, obviously.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, we aren't arming elementary school kids, obviously.
I mean, what is she?
Did she think that Paxton was saying to give the 7-year-olds guns?
Apparently. I
No,
don't know.
she's stupid. Her small brain couldn't process what and she says, well, I want to take what he says seriously. No, dummy. You're an unserious person in this. We aren't arming the kids. Do you think really that's what he was suggesting? Do you think now's the day to say, you know what, we're going to give the kids Glocks in their lunchboxes?
We don't arm them, and they were defenseless. I can't describe enough how defenseless they were. I mean, once he decided it was this school, there's almost nothing you can do at that stage. I don't even care what kind of gun he has. There's likely no security presence there. School districts are just prioritizing, and they tend to focus safety and security on high schools.
What a horseshit thing to say. Once he's decided, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Once he's decided, he's made a decision, there's nothing you can do. She goes on, once she understands that maybe that we were talking about arming the teachers. But listen to this. And listen to this. This is projection.
Maybe there's a locked door. Maybe there's a locking system, but we don't know. And so, basically it's done. Once he decides to do it, it's done.
No, it's not done. It's not done. If a teacher is in there who's been trained how to use a pistol and can blow his goddamn head off, then it's not done. Once he's decided, well, then it's done. Well, what the kind of freaking Homeland Defense person are you? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Once he's in the building, hopefully he runs out of bullets in time, so we'll just hang out. The frig is that?
Yeah, it's a psychotic thing to say. Like, but that's the attitude of somebody who wants to take guns out of society, is if you have a society with guns, then anybody can just do anything with guns. Not noticing, of course, that obviously he chose to run into a school because he knew that that would be a place where people wouldn't have guns, because most schools, I don't know about in Texas, but at least around here, like schools, you're not allowed to have guns even anywhere near a school. So shooters deliberately choose people, or like the Buffalo shooter deliberately chose places where he knew people wouldn't be able to have access to as much ammo or whatever. I bet you they wished in the Buffalo supermarket that they had, magazines that held more bullets than what they had when that shooter was in there wearing body armor.
Right. There was a guy in there with a gun who shot him, but it hit the body armor.
The second is the issue of arming teachers, which is clearly going to be part of this political debate in the future. So
is that her realizing she screwed up the first half of the answer to the question?
Right. Arming teachers, she says,
is only going to work if there's, the teacher, him or herself, is able to stop the perpetrator. And that's making a huge assumption.
Right. Well,
the
and
gun
if not, well, you tried, right?
Right.
Worst case scenario. But the other thing is that she doesn't know what she's talking about. Tapper should have given her the high sign and said, "Oh, we got to end this interview. We have somebody who's supposedly somebody's spitballing out loud. She doesn't know what she's talking about anymore. This is flim-flam."
So instead of trying to play defense all the time, arming everyone in school, which is clearly going to lead to more deaths.
Wait a second. Playing defense all the time, arming everybody in the school? What do you mean? That suddenly changes the scenario. So there's
it's a
no
preventative situation.
No, that makes the killer play defense suddenly, which is what you want. Rather than say, "Oh, he's already in the school. C'est la vie. Good luck with that."
Rather than fewer because of accidents or things getting elevated. That's what most of the data shows.
That's horseshit. That's absolutely BS. The data shows that arming teachers will just mean more people shot. It's like it's going to be the OK Corral. There's no data for that. That's absolute crap. What we know is that this guy was shot and it was over once he was shot. So if we increase the chances that this guy is shot, I think that's probably a good thing.
You want to play a little offense against these
offense. What
kind of attacks? And that
how is allowing the guy, once he decides to go in and it's over, how is that playing offense?
That involves things that Paxton is bringing up. He's, that he wants us not to talk about guns because he wants to talk about whatever's animating this person. But that's so defensive. I mean,
what do you mean it's defensive? Whatever animating this person, well, we shouldn't look into why this kid's a psycho and try to prevent more psychos? But she says, because, of course, she's just spinning on CNN because she wants a gig as a host, he doesn't want to talk about guns. Well, yes, he does. He wants to get them into the hands of teachers who are qualified.
And think about it as a parent. Like, you're just, it's like you're just going to play defense all the time and like cross your fingers that the teacher.
Wait, you're the one who said to cross the fingers.
Yeah.
Once he decides, anybody with a gun decides, or you can do what Julia Callahan really wants to tell you, which is to ban all guns and have them hoovered out of every house in the United States and hope that the bad guys don't hang on to theirs because they're illegal now.
Armed. I mean, it's just we don't do that in any other situation. So we
don't do that in any other situation. The Brinks truck guy has a sidearm because even thieves dislike getting shot.
Well, right. Everything that we don't want attacked, we put guns there.
Right.
Including, like, celebrities all have people follow them around with guns. Like, anybody who can afford it. Congress has people with guns. The Supreme Court has people with guns. Like, everywhere that's important to us that we want to protect from people attacking it, we put people with guns there. That's why people like Cori Bush and AOC have armed security guards, right? Like, actually, I'm not sure about AOC, but I know Cori Bush does off the top of my head because that was like a thing that she had paid $70,000 or something for armed security. But everybody knows this intuitively when it comes to the decisions they actually make with their own money and what they do, right? Is like if something's important to you and you have the money to afford it, you put a person with a gun in front of it and then people don't mess with it, right? That's what people do. But we've somehow decided that elementary schools follow, or high schools or whatever schools follow some different laws of physics where that doesn't work anymore. And that's, we're not being nuanced enough. That's not smart enough. That's not going to work. You know what? It works for everybody. Armed guards has always worked for everybody. It doesn't seem that complicated.
Well, right. Exactly.
It's pretty
Are
simple.
the police just playing defense? Is that what they're doing all the time? Don't play defense, guys. That's not the way to do it. Playing defense. What you're doing is if you have somebody in there who's armed, then you don't have to say anymore, well, it's too late once he's decided to walk in. Well, it's not too late anymore once there's somebody in there with a gun.
Right, exactly. And it's one of those things where people's actual choices reveal what they know to be true deep down, which is that, like every celebrity who can afford it has a bodyguard with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what they do. Even when they advocate for gun control and all this other stuff, that's just what people do. And, if we were a serious country, we would say that we want the adults who are in elementary schools to be empowered to be armed to prevent stuff like this from happening,
right.
because we know that that's how you prevent stuff like this from happening. Even in countries where guns are banned, they still protect the president with guys with guns, right?
That's playing defense.
Take that at face value. I'm already getting a lot of hostility about, on Twitter and social media. People are obviously animated. I'm just going to address it as the Attorney General intended it to be addressed. I just want to focus on one other thing. We are talking about the past and who this perpetrator was. We're talking about the future and gun controls.
Gun controls. So that is where we are. That is what's happening right now. Do you see anything more current than?
I don't see anything new
than what we had. Chris Murphy, the blowhard from Connecticut, is of course running front and center to say more stuff on this. He had a speech which was essentially just what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You say fuck you. God damn, these ads. Anyway, I'm not gonna play it. He just says, what are we gonna do? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Every politician is a gross, sick bastard for politicizing this. They don't know the facts yet. If somebody says the left should come out and say ban all guns, then just say ban all guns. Okay,
well, that's what they want to say. They just, don't want. They know that they'll be in trouble if they say that. But, I don't know. It's sick. We have a sick society where we all immediately run to Twitter to try and tweet why this problem would be solved if we just passed my preferred policy. And everybody's guilty of it to an extent, but it's gross. Don't do it. Let's actually find out what happened first that led up to this and what was going on before anybody starts making pronouncements about this stuff, about what would solve it in the future. It's not. It's unserious, but all the people yelling about how these things oh, well, where were the good guys with guns and all this stuff? Well, one of them shot him. So it seems pretty effective, but whatever. I'm angry at everybody. They all suck. None of them really cares about the kids or whatever it is. It's just all point scoring, and it's annoying. And
it is. And Biden's going to speak tonight at 8:15. He's going to politicize the hell out of it.
It's also primary election day in a lot of the country,
right,
too. So,
right. Kamala supposedly spoke on it as well. And I don't know if I can find it. So you can imagine what's going on. All right, so that is it for us. There's nothing. We're in a position here where it's the only thing going on. It's still developing, and there's nothing else to mention. I mean, it's a dark day. Unfortunately, it's the more we go from today into tonight, it reminds me of Sandy Hook, where the dark clouds were on the horizon, and now they're just overtaking us. So that is it. Our love goes out to those families and those poor children and the victims down there. And that's it, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
C'est la vie.